Welcome everybody to another episode of DaShoot. I'm going to go down memory lane as I try to combine two of my passions, that is for photography and also professional wrestling. Watching AEW this week when Chris Jericho won the Ring of Honor Championship from Cesaro, and then also watching Rampage, and you had Dalton Castle and some of the OG originals in the Ring of Honor company appear in their battle royal. It got me to thinking of the very first time and the very first Ring of Honor show I've ever attended. Being on the West Coast, Ring of Honor doesn't visit the West Coast as often as we would like. So back in 2016, we got an opportunity where Ring of Honor was coming to Las Vegas. At the time, Las Vegas was only about a 5-hour drive from where we lived at, so it was a no-brainer to attend this show. And this was actually a special show because it was the TV tapings following the Ring of Honor 14th anniversary pay-per-view. I would have loved to attend the pay-per-view. However, because of obligations with work, I could not get the day off. Also, what made this day even more special was this was a day where the New Japan Pro Wrestling talent would also be a part of the TV tapings for Ring of Honor. Being in 2016, New Japan was just really making an impact, and it was more impact on professional wrestling fans who were really into the scene, and getting the opportunity to see some of the great New Japan wrestlers appear on the show was an opportunity that we were not going to miss. So we got our tickets, we drove out to Las Vegas, and quite frankly, when they said that this show was taking place in Las Vegas, they were being a little bit, how can I say, not the most truthful with that, because it happened in the state of Nevada. But saying that it was in Las Vegas, when you think about Las Vegas, you really think about the Strip and where all the action is at and whatnot. However, this took place 20 minutes outside of Las Vegas at Sam's Town. And Sam's Town was kind of like a place that is all by itself. And another part of Nevada that I'm not exactly sure what the name of is. I want to say it was called Boulder, but I could be wrong in this situation. What I remember most about Sam's Town was that Sam's Town was located across the street from a Walmart. And on top of that, when you got inside of the hotel reminded me of the old Frontier. Like it had this old saloon type vibe to it. And I don't think that they were really ready to handle the influx of wrestling fans that were there, because when we got there, unfortunately, it was a problem with our room, and our room was not available, so we had to get I guess what they called it, a ADA compliant room, where it was a trip because it was a suite, but it was a suite that we probably did not need to be in. But I digress. The purpose of this video is that I want to share some of my pictures that I took at the 14th anniversary TV tapings and come down with a list of 6 of my favorite pictures. I hope you guys enjoy this. It was actually quite of a trip to go down memory lane, going through, seeing all these pictures and stuff like that. So I really hope that you guys like what I'm going to present to you. So I have talked long enough. All the pictures were taken with a camera I no longer own. It was a Panasonic Lumix DMC FZ200. Yes, that's a lot. That's a mouthful, but it's a point and shoot with a very long zoom, which kind of comply with all of the rules to bring into an event. Quite frankly, bringing cameras into live shows is one of the hardest things that you can do because there's so many rules, and sometimes they try not to let you win even though you followed all the rules. Marcus knows a story about that. AEW, that was the first time I ever had issues, and I got extremely hot at not being able to bring my camera in, but I got it in, needless to say. But we're not here to talk about that moment. We're here to talk about the 14th anniversary TV tapings. And let me start off with my number 6 favorite image from the evening. And that is an image of Kenny Omega and ACH after Kenny Omega has delivered the V-trigger to ACH. What I really like about this photo, I love the expression of Kenny Omega in this picture. I love the reaction that ACH got after receiving the V-trigger. I really like the colors. I like everything. I just like, it was such a moment. Then you look down in the corner, you can see Matt Jackson reacting to it like, ooh, look at that. So that's why this one made it in. And quite frankly, there were so many pictures that I liked that I actually cheated a little bit and made it my top 6, when in actuality it was supposed to be originally my top 5. But number 6, Omega ACH V-Trigger. Coming in at number 5 is a picture that concluded the feud, and it was the very last match of the TV tapings. It was Dalton Castle going against Silas Young in Who Was a Man of a Man's match. And quite frankly, it was a fun, entertaining match. It was almost felt like Dalton Castle got to live his boyhood dream because he essentially became a man because he beat Silas Young. The picture I selected is the picture at the end as the show is going off. He's celebrating with the boys. The boys are nursing their injuries. Confetti is falling. I really enjoy that little piece of confetti that falls into Dalton Castle's mouth. I mean, I just like the overall thing. Also, if you look down at the bottom, you see somebody with their phone taking a picture of Dalton Castle. I wonder have they looked at that phone since that moment because, you know, this took place back in 2016. But I really like this picture, and actually seeing him in the battle royal on Rampage reminded me of this Ring of Honor 14th anniversary show. And that's why this picture came in at number 5. Number 4, a man who is now currently in AEW, and at this time he was the champion of Ring of Honor. This is Mr. Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal actually made the cover of the book that I made from this event. You guys are seeing the color versions, but when I made the book, actually, I'm a big fan of black and white. I converted all the pictures to black and white. It's one of my favorite books that I've made, and it really captured the moment of attending that live show. What I liked about this picture was I love the intense stare that Jay Lethal had. I like how he's carrying the Ring of Honor championship and holding it up very high. Also, the thing that this picture doesn't show very well, but some of the other pictures, you can see this was probably the tail end days of him holding on to his cornrows because Father Time was catching up to him, and soon thereafter he was going to be completely bald. And considering that I've been part of the bald club for so long, I understand how it feels when you have to let your hair go, but at least at that point, he was the Ring of Honor champion. So that is my number 4 favorite picture of the night. Now we get to the top 3. The top 3 was kind of hard to choose for it, and the list kind of moved around. Actually, it wasn't as hard as it could have been. Number 3 was probably the hardest pick because Jay Lethal, Dalton Castle, and Kenny Omega could have easily been number 3. But number 3 went to probably one of the greatest tag teams of our generation, although they have not made it to any of the major companies, and they have been Ring of Honor veterans since day one, and that is the Briscoes, Mark and Jay Briscoe. What I really liked about this picture is that you see the wild side of Mark Briscoe as he does his thing, celebrating in the smoke, as Jay is just being a tent. This is like, I think this was after Jay was actually the Ring of Honor champion for a while. And so this was their like reunion, being back together as a tag team. Nor can say the energy of this picture I really enjoyed. And I think it really encapsulated the moment of being there and seeing all these individuals here, this and that. I mean, like it was a great time. Coming in at number 2, arguably, this could easily be number 1. This is by far one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken in out my career going to events. And this is a picture of Matt Jackson reaching for the tag between the legs of his brother Nick Jackson as they were struggling and being held back by Tanahashi. I think what I really enjoyed about this picture, you see the emotion that Matt has on his face, but I think the thing that really sets this apart is that you see the name of the tag team on the trunks of Nick Jackson, where you see the Young Bucks. And I mean, it's colorful, it has a lot of energy. I just really like this picture, and it could have been number 1. However, it can't be number 1 when the main reason why we came to this show was not only to witness Ring of Honor live, but also to witness one of the greatest wrestlers to ever lace up his boots and not be in WWE or AEW, but to watch the Rainmaker himself, Okada. And Okada was there. Gedo was there. Love this picture. Just like with the Briscoes picture, I love how he's taking in the steam and the smoke. I love how Gedo is celebrating in the back. I love the lights. I love him just bringing it in and reining it all in. this is by far my favorite picture. I mean, before I had this picture in black and white, now that I look at it right now, is in color. I mean, the IWGP title is still, this version is still one of the prettiest titles in professional wrestling. Still don't know why they changed the title to what they changed it to, but that's not here to be debated. But honestly, this is my favorite picture. So, of the evening, this was my favorite picture. So, as I recap, I have Okada number 1. I have Matt Jackson reaching for the tag number 2. The Briscoes number 3. Jay Lethal number 4. Number 5, Dalton Castle with the boys. And number 6, Kenny Omega landing the V trigger on ACH. Now, these were my 6 favorite from all the pictures I had to choose from. Quite frankly, this order could have been anything. What I'm going to do at this moment, I'm going to post some of the outtakes of the pictures that I had as we cycle through and I talk about all the things that you can do to, help out this channel. But these are other pictures that I took at the event that really could have made the cut. And I love all these pictures equally. Like I said, I made a book for this at my house. So I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of The Shoot. I mean, this is probably one of the more personal things that I've done because I'm actually showcasing some of the pictures that I've taken at these events because normally they just rest on my computer. So hopefully you guys like that. I also hope that you guys continue to subscribe and participate in all the shows that we put out. Remember, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can always join Manny and Marcus for the Untitled Manny and Marcus show where they cover Monday Night Raw and whatever happens on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, they talk about NXT and AEW. Then you also have on Wednesday, you have ETE with Marcus and Jamal where they discuss everything else but professional wrestling. I believe last week they discussed the PWI 500. That was a very inside baseball conversation, but I'm pretty sure if you show up live and you ask them questions, they'll be more than happy to answer some of your questions. Also, you have the fun show that's the blast from the past, kind of like this recap of my favorite photos. It's Raw is Retro with the big Ross man, Lord Manny Hayes. And it seems like Marcus is also a recurring character on that show, so he might be there. And then, of course, on Saturdays, we have the Sharpshooters podcast. That's the show that I'm on with Lord Manny Hayes and Marcus, where we sit down and we discuss the week in wrestling, cover news stories, and the week in pro wrestling. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, in the comments, let me know, what are your favorite photos? Would you had a different order? Is there anything that I could do differently that maybe help make this more entertaining? Hell, would you like to see any more of my photos be across and presented like this? Let me know. I'm trying to figure out how I can make something more contribution to the network. And like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I've been rambling. Until next time, stay sharp and peace.